My son Mason is 8 and he has multiple disabilities. He's very medically fragile. He was born premature and we were told that he wasn't going to come off the ventilator, and they basically sent him home with us to die. And we weaned him off the ventilator, and it took us 8 months, but we got him off the ventilator. So as he was growing up, you know, we were told he was going to be in a wheelchair. I don't know why we would order a wheelchair when he's just started bearing weight. You know, he wants to walk. I know he wants to walk. If he wasn't riding a horse, he would have never walked, because that horse taught him that feeling. How do you teach somebody how to have the proper gait? How do you teach them to walk? You can't like explain that, and you can't motion them to do it the right way, but when they sit and they feel it, they can mimic that movement.
And that's tremendously beneficial in terms of balance, because if you don't walk normally, because you have cerebral palsy and you require braces, you don't necessarily have the opportunity to develop normal balance mechanisms. You look at the movement of a horse and you realize this is very similar to the movement of a person walking.
But when they sit and they feel it, they can mimic that movement when they get down off the horse, and that's what helped my son learn how to walk.
So what we want to do is, when that child has the coordination, when that child has the muscular strength and the muscular ability to take those first steps, we want that child to succeed. Because if they will succeed, they'll take the next steps. And so that's one of the reasons that we do hippotherapy, and we continue to do it.
Horses are really pretty dynamic animals in that they pick up on the body language of those around them, they pick up on the emotions and the needs of those around them, and they're able to really respond to those needs in a lot of different ways.
So we've been working for months now with horses and with children to learn the program ourselves and teach our horses how to handle the special needs that some of these children have.
The horse and the child connect, so they can shut the rest of the world out, which is something that they need to do on occasions during the day.
The reason we keep coming back is that his language has improved drastically, and then directly after horseback riding, he's very conversational, which typically he's not.
Kids are much more verbal on the horse. When they get up there, they're happy. Even the posture helps open the airways and allows them to produce sounds more easily.
It's hard to converse or to engage in any kind of conversation with somebody if you're just tight and contracted all the time. And so anything that can naturally reduce the tone on a child, which is a natural way, it's not involving any medications, it's not involving any kind of injections or any kind of a surgery, that's a very positive thing.
My son wasn't talking to anybody outside of my husband and I until he got on a horse.
She has multiple global developmental delays, so she's not quite talking yet. She started walking at 4, but we believe that some of the gains she's made are from riding so regularly. In fact, the other day, on Monday, we have hippotherapy, and she came home from hippotherapy and said, hung, for hungry. She had never gone, huh, before. She had never made the H sound. For all I know, they were working on, huh, horse. There really are connections.
Luke is doing phenomenal. He's running, no more baby gaits, huge range of movement, playing like a regular boy his age would, using his arms, climbing, jumping.
One of the common misconceptions about alternative therapies and special needs is that it affects just children. These children grow up, and I can speak to stats benefit to a number of adults that aren't, 5 years old and cute, with that little tiny walker, isn't that darling? What about the adults? I have a specific to an adult, a gentleman who is precious to me in many ways. I do know that he goes up to the stable, and I know that he has some pretty intense behavioral concerns, and I do know that the horses calm his spirit. And that's a great gift.
She just has a blast when she's here, and you know, it's noticeable. In the beginning, she had no real posture. She couldn't set up on her own or do anything independently.
We see kids starting out on the horse that are unable to even put a helmet on their head, and their head is bopping all around, their head is down, and as the sessions progress, you start to see their head come up a lot more.
We had her at one point, was it 12 minutes, I think? It was 12 minutes where she could sit up on her own without any support from anyone. I am a firm believer that hippotherapy is the main factor in her posture, her sitting up, you know, just overall her, her mood.
I think it's hard to be a young person in this day and age. I think it's very hard to be a young person. I'm not sure it's ever been harder. And that goes whether you have a disability or not. I think anything you can do for a young person is not too much. You can support the Little League for those kids who can play Little League. And you can go to the dance recitals for those kids who can dance ballet. And you can help out those kids who can ride horses. And that may be the way that they can walk someday. It's just like anybody else. Kids with CP are kids, and that's all.